If you've spent any time in modern gardening spaces, you've heard the hype. Biochar will fix your soil, double your yields, and save the planet. Scroll YouTube or gardening blogs and the message is the same. Biochar is, well, magic. But here's the problem. Most gardeners who rush into biochar expecting miracles end up disappointed. Some even call it a scam. Biochar isn't a new discovery. It's actually one of the oldest soil practices on the planet. Evidence of its use stretches back thousands of years, especially in the Amazon basin, where ancient civilizations created the legendary Terra Preta, soil so fertile it still grows bumper harvest centuries later. But here's the twist. The ancients weren't just throwing charcoal into the ground, they understood something deeper, something crucial, that modern gardeners are often never told. I want you to imagine building a powerful machine. Biochar is like the engine block, strong, durable, long-lasting, but without fuel, oil, ignition, and oxygen, it's just dead metal. Drop raw biochar into the soil and you may lose fertility. Raw biochar absorbs nutrients, nitrogen especially, like a sponge. Gardeners often panic when their lush green beds suddenly pale. It's not because biochar is harmful, it's because it's empty. This is the truth ancient gardeners knew. Biochar must be charged. Their version wasn't plain charcoal, it was alive, infused with nutrients, rich with microbes, packed with organic matter. Modern gardeners expect life from something lifeless. That's the real scam. Not biochar, but the belief that it works alone. Here's what makes biochar special once it's fully prepared. Its microscopic structure creates billions of tiny chambers, like a coral reef underground. Those chambers become permanent housing for soil microbes, not temporary, not seasonal, permanent. Even compost eventually breaks down. Biochar does not. That's why its benefits don't fade. When charged, it becomes a nutrient bank and microbe fortress, helping soil retain water, hold on to minerals, prevent nutrient leaching and sustain microbial life through drought and heat. That's not hype, that's physics. But if you skip the charging step, that reef stays empty, and empty chambers steal nutrients from your plants. The people who created Terra Preta didn't have biochar factories, fancy tools, or university studies. They had deep soil instinct. They blended biochar with compost, manure, food scraps, and forest soil. They didn't rush the process. They waited until the charcoal was soaked with life, and then added it to the ground. Modern gardeners are rarely told this. They buy a bag, sprinkle the black shards over soil, and wait for magic. Then they blame biochar when nothing happens. But the problem isn't the material. It's the missing biology. Let's get practical, gardener to gardener. If you want biochar to transform your soil, don't skip this step. Take your biochar and soak it in something rich: compost tea, manure tea, worm casting slurry, fermented plant juice, urine diluted 10:1, your best compost pile. Mix biochar with these ingredients and let it mature for at least 2 weeks. Longer is better. Once charged, that dead charcoal becomes electrically alive. Microbes multiply, nutrients bond, carbon structure activates. Spread that into your beds, and the effects are long-lasting: improved drainage, stronger roots, darker soil, deeper green plants, richer harvests, and all with fewer soil amendments over time. This is why I never call biochar a scam. The results are real, but only if you treat biochar as a partner, not a product. Many experts oversimplify because, well, simple sells. People want quick fixes, not multi-step soil preparation. Gardening companies know this, so they market biochar as fertilizer to make the sale easier. Add to that the fact that biochar's benefits unfold slowly. Not in a week, not in a month, but over seasons. And you can see why impatient gardeners get frustrated. We live in a fast world. Plants live in a slow one. Soil lives in a timeless one. Biochar speaks the language of time. Before recommending anything, I test it. I've worked biochar into several garden beds here on Soilpower. The first time I used it, wrong, I was honestly pretty unimpressed. The soil dried faster, yields dipped, and the plants struggled. I almost threw the idea out. But after learning more about Terra Preta, I went back and reapproached biochar. This time, I charged it deeply with worm castings and compost runoff water. Within a season, everything changed. The soil tilth improved dramatically, water retention stabilized, earthworms multiplied, And the plants, they were stronger, greener, and more resilient, especially during heat. Biochar didn't act like fertilizer, it acted like long-term architecture. And once you understand that, the results make sense. Now, here's the part most articles won't admit. Biochar isn't for every situation. If your soil is already sandy, low fertility, or low in organic matter, adding raw or lightly charged biochar can actually set you back. Compost alone may be more helpful. If your garden needs fast fertility, biochar won't do that on its own. If you want instant results, biochar will frustrate you. Biochar is a long-term resource. Think 10, 20, even 100 years. That's why ancient soils still glow with fertility. That's why modern gardeners need patience. So, is biochar a scam? No. But the way it's sold often is. Biochar is ancient. Biochar is powerful. Biochar is misunderstood. When used the right way, at the right time, in the right soil, biochar becomes part of a system that can transform depleted soil into rich, permanent fertility. When tossed into the ground raw and forgotten, it becomes little more than expensive black gravel. The truth hidden by experts isn't that biochar is useless. It's that biochar requires biology, time, and knowledge. That isn't a failure, that's gardening. Here on Soilpower, our goal is to revive soil, not treat it like a product, a trend, or a bandage. Biochar is just one tool in a bigger ecosystem. Compost, microbes, minerals, organic matter, and time. Gardeners working alone with raw land can create soil that rivals Terra Preta. Not overnight, but for generations. Biochar isn't magic, it isn't instant, it isn't fertilizer, it is structure, it is habitat, it is permanence, and when you give it life, it gives back, year after year, harvest after harvest, longer than compost, manure, or mulch could ever dream. So don't fall for the hype. Don't fa på din sidensurs. Aldau tendadaus sundiniu. One ten stata bersinde bedau, one ten sturi. On Biochar, learn the ancient truth, biochar works, when you work with it. If this article helped you see biochar differently, do me a favor. Take a second to subscribe to Soilpower, leave a comment and share this resource with another gardener. Together, we're not just growing plants, we're rebuilding soil.